Imagine the life of our ancestors before. Imagine the life of the war veterans and the elders of the community. Imagine how they communicated and passed on information.
Alo, kunyunlangon, kumusta ka? Good day everyone! How are you? I hope you are having a great time studying with me.
In our modern world, different information sources have emerged. We have sophisticated libraries, constantly evolving mass media, and fiber internet connections.
Have you ever thought about indigenous media? How do the indigenous peoples communicate, store, and spread information?
Dumaki, let's find it out. Get your hashtag MOTD and get ready to think wisely, create smartly, and share information responsibly. My name is Sir Brex. This is Grade 12 Media and Information Literacy.
In the last episode, you will recall that we tackled the different types of media. We also did a comparison and contrast as to how one issue or piece of news is presented through print, broadcast, or online. Before we delve deeper into our topic for today, I would like you to watch this short music video entitled Suwod Ko, filmed here in Mindanao. While watching the video, please reflect on the following questions.
Number 1. What is the central message of the song? Number 2. Based on the music video, how do the different indigenous peoples or IPs practice their culture and beliefs?
Haunan apio sareu
Keren tau setipun keren tau lemut tolong humul kuadangan tau
So what do you think is the central message of the song? It is all about the conservation of traditions, culture, and beliefs, and being proud of them. James Carey once wrote that culture could limit and divide, or liberate and unite. It offers us infinite opportunities to use media and communication for good, if we choose to do so.
How do the IPs practice their culture and beliefs? It was shown in the video that the different IPs practice their culture and beliefs through their arts and crafts, music, dance, and celebrations that all express their oneness with nature.
Indigenous is synonymous with words such as native or local. Indigenous knowledge, or IK, refers to distinctive facts, information, and skills that originate in a community of people, sharing the same beliefs, ideas, and cultures. This is passed down by word of mouth from one generation to another.
Examples on how indigenous knowledge plays a major role in one's culture are seen in folk dances, traditional medicine, and kwentong bayan or folklore. According to Warren in 1991, IK is local knowledge, knowledge that is unique to a given culture or society, in contrast to the international knowledge system generated by universities, research institutions, and private firms. In addition to that, according to the Asia Indigenous Peoples Pact, IK is owned, controlled, and managed by indigenous peoples. This is for them to develop and produce culturally appropriate information in the languages understood by their specific communities.
They utilize indigenous materials and resources, reflecting community needs and interests, visions and aspirations, independent from vested interest groups. Indigenous media, which is also known as community media, refers to the communicative tools and resources of the indigenous peoples. This is any form of media that is created in the community, controlled in the community, for the community, about the community, and by the community.
Forms of indigenous media include folk or traditional media, gatherings and social organizations, direct observation, written, carved or oral records, and oral instruction. Information sharing is sometimes limited only to the members of the community. Indigenous communication refers to the information exchange via local channels. It is a way of cultural preservation and adaptation. Looking back at Philippine history, the Umaluhukan were known as the town criers of the ancient barangays and the well-organized independent villages. They announced laws ordered by the dato or chieftain that had to reach the whole community.
Do you know the characteristics of indigenous media? First, it resides in the stories. A culture values and beliefs reside in the stories it tells. These stories teach important cultural lessons and preserve important cultural traditions and values. Oral or pre-literate cultures are those without a written language. Usually, the indigenous peoples use oral tradition of communication. They pass on stories from generation to generation. The exchange is face-to-face, and the information is contained within the borders of the community. Second, their language meanings are specific and local, which make their communities closely knit. They know each other intimately, and their members are highly dependent on each other for all aspects of life. Another distinct characteristic of IM, or indigenous media, is that they store information in human memories. Memory is crucial. Thus, there is a big possibility that less and less information is conserved through time.
As repositories of cultural customs and traditions, elders are revered. They are responsible for passing the knowledge on to the next generation. These elders and storytellers indeed play a vital role in shaping the culture of each community.
Let's listen to one of the elders of Obo Manuvo community and discover a bit more about their story.
Okay, siyak si Dato Damaso Bayawan sa Kadno Council of Elder Chairman to Madadma Ancestral Domain, Barangay Lumabis, Kidapawan City. Idas ka namin kad-preserve tat kultura roy, kailangan at taduan de ida mga anak. Mga anak, taduan tat batasanan tat tribu. Idadangan na panahon, wala pa cellphone, wala pa sulat. Dasad kapian ka po sa leader, no? Umawan din da mga leader diyon. Na duwan mga ukuman, duwan caucus. Ahong ida sa taptapon. Duwan da sa pasado, tamarat, tuway mapiya. Diyan ta mga buyag, nagapaminaw sila sa tingog sa alimukon. Tingog tadat limukon, dahingon tat limukon. Idiyan da sa pasado, no? Yakob panayon kay duwan marat jet ko nan. Diyan to mga orasan, waman regludangan. Hasta karon na apa na. Pero ang problema, ang kalaw, tu anas layo. Ikain ka sa kadpasado, diyan to mga informasyon na ingong marian. Doon na. Doon sa kad, Ida dato don uripan din. Nagtuman siya, mudala siya og kanang kutsilyo sa tribo, sangi. Halimbawa sa ako, motawag ko sa mga council of elder, isulat na ko. Pirma na ko. Idaskad tambong dan. Ad intud, mangutana. Andan ida sa, kumbaga karon agenda naman. Andan ida sa dantulan. Ang dato kung magpatawag, respetuhon na nila. Agenda ng gilika.
In the modern world, news and stories typically reach the community through local meetings known as kapihan, balitaktakan, kwentong barbero, and group chats. Kapihan refers to a place or a session where community members come together to share stories over a cup of coffee. Nowadays, a similar practice is done when people go to coffee shops to meet and chat with their friends.
Balitaktakan refers to a discussion or debate where members are free to voice out their opinion about a certain topic. Members exchange ideas to come up with a feasible solution to a community problem.
Kwentong barbero is a Filipino idiom that is often associated to hearsay. Its origin may be stemmed from local men who go to barbershops not only to get a good haircut but to listen to the barber stories. Thus, a barber story is passed down from one customer to another until it reaches the community.
Pare, pagkawin na ako next month.
Tayo magagawa ka.
Sila ni.
Ay, tayo pa ito ah?
Nagkaparamisa. Ibay, nagkapare.
Nasukra. Congratulations.
A group chat is a virtual platform where a number of users exchange information and communicate in real time. Over time, communities have become less closely knit and their members less dependent on one another. The definition of community has expanded to include people outside the local area. A culture's memory, history, and myth could be recorded on paper. With written histories, elders and storytellers began to lose their status and new elites developed. Take for example Homer, who became famous for his legendary stories, the Iliad and the Odyssey. There was a significant leap forward ushered in by the Gutenberg Revolution when the printing press system was established in 1446. With the advent of the printing press, more books were published, and later, there were public places for book lovers called the library.
Another source of information is the library. The library as a repository of information.
As defined in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a library is a place in which literary, musical, artistic, or reference materials are kept for use, but not for sale.
A library is one of the several places where one can search for media sources and information. A library is where sets of books, periodicals, and other resources are arranged through a specific system of classification and organization. As mentioned earlier, libraries came into existence because of the birth of the printing press. The main role of a library is to organize various sources of information and provide users the access to them. Modern libraries are connected to the internet to provide library users a wide range of information sources and data. In universities, for example, a library also serves as a common ground, literally or figuratively, for students from different disciplines to interact. Henry Ward Beecher once said that a library is not a luxury, but one of the necessities in life. Do you agree with him? When was the last time that you visited the library, by the way? I am challenging you to visit one soon. Another source of information is the internet. The internet refers to a global system that links computer networks under the same set of communication protocols. Some scholarly articles that are not available in print are already accessible online. Undoubtedly, the internet has become a more convenient and efficient alternative that allows users to find specific information instead of having to browse through volumes of printed books. However, along with this almost unlimited access to online information is the challenge of ensuring that the information provided comes from credible sources. Aside from indigenous media, the library, and the internet as sources of information, we also have the so-called mass media. It refers to a different array of media technologies that reach a large audience via mass communication.
It is undeniable that an enormous portion of our lives is spent in interaction with mass media. Television is now a basic commodity in every Filipino household. 98% of all our homes have this set, and the televisions are usually turned on for 5 to 7 hours a day in a typical Filipino home. According to Stanley Baran, the usual business of television is dominated by a few centralized production, distribution, and decision-making organizations. These networks link affiliates for the purpose of delivering and selling viewers to advertisers.
On an ordinary Sunday, millions of Filipinos will tune in to a primetime television show.
Indeed, the remarkable reach of television is because of its attractiveness as an advertising medium in exchange for the news and current affairs we see and the entertainment and other media contents we consume. Let's also consider new television technologies and the convergence of the internet, television, and the radio, and how it has led to changes in the interaction between the medium and audience. According to a national poll conducted by social weather stations from December 13 to December 16 in 2019, less than half of Filipinos who are 18 years old and above are internet users. The agency added, for comparison, 83% of Filipino households own at least one cellular phone, 79% own a television, 31% own a radio, and 14% own a personal computer.
My dear MIL students, it's a big help to know how to evaluate information. Based on the work of Paul and Elder of the Eastern Kentucky University Libraries, you should look into the following key points to evaluate information.
Accuracy. Content should be grammatically correct, verifiable, and cited when necessary. Author. Ask yourself, who created the content? What are his or her credentials or expertise? Is their contact information provided? Currency. Information is current and updated frequently. Examine if you know when the information was originally published and if the date is still acceptable. Fairness. You should take note of the content as to whether it is balanced and not just one-sided or biased, especially in current issues about politics and society. Ask yourself if there are various points of view presented. Is the source also free of advertisements? Otherwise, additional verification may be necessary. Lastly, investigate the relevance. The content of the source should be relevant to your topic or research. Reflect if the purpose of the source meets your needs. Media and information sources are not all the same and are not created equal. Now, let's go through all the information sources again. Indigenous media is primarily used to open up other spaces for discussion of indigenous people's issues and conditions. It is also used to preserve their cultures and traditions. Indigenous media is the best source for indigenous knowledge. Libraries of published books are often considered highly reliable, accurate, and valuable. Thus, libraries are the best source for academic information. Mass media is your best choice for news and current affairs. However, you have to ask yourself if the source is free of advertisements or political bias. Information found on the internet, on the other hand, may be quite varied in form and content. Thus, it is more difficult to determine its reliability and accuracy. Accessing information on the internet is easy, but requires more discipline to check and validate.
Congratulations, my dear students, for staying with me until the end of this video lesson. It's now your turn to create something.
The goal here is to interview an adult in your community. He or she could be a respected elder, a war veteran, professional journalist, or social media manager. Your role is to become an instant vlogger. You're going to create a 1-minute video showcasing the information flow process of a certain community.
The highlight of this mini project is to feature how information is received and transmitted or passed on to the members of your community.
Please upload the video that you have created on your own YouTube channel and post the link on our official MIL page and use the hashtag #IamMIL. I hope to see you again in the next episode. Together, let's learn the different codes and conventions of media and information.
Oops! Before I leave you, I would like to serve you some food for thought. It's mealtime!
Nicolas Davila once said, "In an age in which the media broadcasts countless pieces of foolishness, the educated man is defined not by what he knows, but by what he does not know."
That concludes our learning adventure for today. My name is Sir Brex. Always remember, think wisely, create smartly, and share information responsibly. Until next time here on DepEd TV.